Hey guys, welcome back to another part in the playthrough. We are at the mayor's party on the invitation of some kind of Italian mobster, super annoying dude. And we have to mingle with the guests. That's our objective.
I got it from Mr. Wasp. He's the finest milliner in the state and quite the most interesting purveyor of the exotic. But don't tell anyone, sir. The women here are all desperate to know.
Right.
Evening all.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do, ma'am?
Bonjour, monsieur.
Hello.
Sir?
Je vous salue.
Hello, mister. Hi there.
Did you hear him back there? The law should be a dictator?
I wasn't really listening.
Lucky for you. And as for that other fella, Featherstone Chambers, what a windbag he is.
He did seem full of himself.
Anyway,
No, I came down from New York for a job. I'm a banker.
Evening, folks.
How do you do?
An investment banker.
You're the fellows who never lend me money when I need it. And when I've got too much, try to lend me more.
And what do you do, Mr. LaFon?
Originally furs, but now all sorts. Lumber, leather, even maple syrup. My partners and I represent more like 23% of all the trade heading south from Quebec into the U.S.
And who do you bank with?
Oh, the usual bunch of clowns in New York.
Do you bank with anyone in the South?
Not one I particularly like.
Well, have you considered Lemoyne National Bank?
Oh, I need a big bank, sir. We borrow a lot of money and generate a lot of cash. Some nervous small-town bank could finish us in a bad year.
Small town? We handle more cash and cash equivalents than any bank south of Manhattan, including St. Louis. Almost all the Caribbean trade banks with us. We work with all the remaining cotton growers in the U.S. who still use a lot of cash, and we help finance half the reconstruction projects after the war. We love big clients, and they love cash. Our branch alone here in town has more cash reserves on site than any bank in the entire country outside of Wall Street in San Francisco.
Well, perhaps we could discuss it further one day, Mr. Knightley. When it comes to bankers, I drive a hard bargain, but I'm very fair in business.
I would at least like the opportunity to show you our business.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go find my fiancée.
How are you all
Of
doing?
course. And congratulations. A wife is a wonderful thing.
So, anyway, I heard that Judith Hawksbill has taken a lover.
Of course she has. That slippery fool has had that coming for years.
But that's not the interesting part. What's interesting is that her lover is a Pole.
A Poe?
A Russian. Something like that.
Like a Jew?
Oh, not that bad, but nearly. Excuse us, sir. We are having a private conversation.
Hello, dudes, fellers.
Forgive me, ladies. I'm new in town.
Excuse me, both of you, but I must just go speak with my...
Evening all. Hello.
Oops. Heimlich maneuver.
You okay?
My lord! The pesky nut! What a way to go, eh? Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, yes. Thank you. Algernon Wills.
Hello. Tacitus Kilgore.
Hello, Mr. Kilgore. No, what is it that you do?
I'm an adventurer.
Oh, me too. Pursuer of the exotic and the remarkable. An aesthete in this land of commonplace heathens. My card, sir.
Thank you very much.
Pay me a visit in my atelier. I must just go and purge. I intend to stay thin until I pass away.
Okay, okay.
Good evening.
Probably, yeah, the objectives are also on our map, but I also like to just...
Help you, sir. Well, I'm not quite sure yet.
It's a lot more time consuming my way now, but we do get more backstory.
This is Mr. Hector Fellows. Well, it's nice to meet the both of you. New suit? Yeah. No, it's a new shirt. Are you new in town? Yes. I come from the west. I mean the north. The northwest.
Okay. I came down from Washington myself many years ago.
This town gets to a man. Undermines even the best of us.
I'm doing my best, sir.
Truth is an absolute, sir. Don't you think?
Well, I don't quite understand.
Well, you are not, it would seem, the only one.
I was in the army once.
Good for you.
What do you do now?
Well, I'm not quite... I'm an American.
Yes, but what do you do?
Oh, well, I'm in between jobs at the moment.
Oh, of course. Of course.
You shall be too, sir, if you don't sharpen up your morality.
I'm trying, sir. I'm trying.
Well, try harder. Much harder.
What would you like me to do? Hit the mayor myself?
Impudence. I see you still got that. But it takes more than a steady line and insults to succeed in newspapers. At least in mine. Good evening.
Freak.
Evening, folks.
How do you do?
Evening, all. Content de vous voir.
Je vous salue. Would you like tickets?
What?
This cabaret show at the Theater Rombbb.
Yes.
Jolly fun.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Good evening. Well.
Evening, sir.
Mister?
Good evening.
Hello?
Right, that's where we have to mingle, but first let's check out the site guests.
How are you all doing?
Good day.
Evening, folks.
Well, howdy.
Evening, all. Hello there. Good evening, ladies.
Chérie!
Hello there.
Who are these?
Gentlemen. Good evening.
Bien le bonjour.
Bien, bonjour.
Hello.
Gentlemen. Evening, folks.
Hello, dear.
Ooh, she's hot. No,
How do you
not
do?
really.
Hello there.
If you heard what I said about Europeans, I hope it didn't offend you. It's mainly their politics I can't stand.
Not at all. I worked with an Irishman. He was a terrible person.
It takes all my gumption to sleep with Frederick here, and he's as capitalist as they come.
Evening all.
Bien bonjour.
What in the world are you doing?
Evening, folks.
Why, hello.
Evening all. Well, hello there.
Alright, I think I had them all.
How you doing?
Doing well as can be.
Here we go.
It ain't complex, you. And only an idiot like you, buddy, would try to make it so.
I will not deny idiocy, sir, but perhaps now is not the time.
Typical pansy.
You are drunk, Ferdinand.
I'm not drunk, you fool. But this man loves darkies.
Hey, you are pretty drunk. Yeah, what say you and me cool off?
Get your hands off me.
What the hell are we supposed to do? Drag the drunk away from the mayor. Okay.
Come on, sleep it off.
All right, okay, goddammit.
Sit down.
See you later,
Calm down.
Ferdinand.
Count to 1,000. Then you can rejoin the party.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Henri Lemieux. I hope you're enjoying my party.
The mayor.
Allegedly.
There's quite a place you got here.
It's not mine, and the city is horribly in debt, but we can still put on a good show. Do you know Evelyn Miller?
My lord. Ryder?
Well, we seem to have another deranged drunkard on our hands.
Shall we?
Oh, my lord, they're fantastic.
Excuse me, pardon. Excuse me, pardon. Monsieur, please. Please. Mr. Cornwall was quite insistent, I'm afraid. He shouted down the telephone for several minutes.
Mr. Cornwall is a horse's ass, and a bad horse.
I'm very sorry, sir.
It's not your fault. I'm a fool for trusting him. I'll come and sign it in a minute. Let me enjoy the fireworks.
Of course.
Did he say something about Cornwall? Yes. Find out what. Sure.
Man, they did such a great job setting this up. It's so detailed and varied. The plants and the lighting and the clothing and the dialogue. The music. The layout of the place. The fireworks. Amazingly done. Alright, but don't stay back from the servants to make sure you're not spotted.
Everything's fine. We have the place well secured. Good. Mr. Bronte has a habit of wandering about and reading whatever he likes. We're watching him and his men like hawks. Thank you, Mr. Terry.
Also pretty cool, those police. They really are like a sign of a system being set up in the Wild West.
The mayor said he will sign later.
These drapes, beautiful. All the paintings, hardly any repetition in paintings. Often you see in games the same paintings over and over used, but not here.
Marie! Marie! Find that little reprobate Chip and beat him! I will not have standards slip! I'm sorry, sir, but the party's in the garden. The residence is purely for family. I do hope you understand.
Forgive me, I was unaware.
Slip in this house! Have you lost your mind? I said, have you lost your mind? Come here. Come here. Look at me. Look at me. Who do you think you are? This area is not meant for the likes of you. You know this.
Can you imagine having such a boss?
House are slipping. This is a final warning to you, miss. A final warning. Now Get out of my sight.
Holy shit. A guy like that, you would want to drop head first from the balcony. People who believe like in hierarchies and castes, like in India, you have like that caste system, like those levels of civilization or authority. They are so retarded. Alright, he's putting something in there. And that's what we are going to steal, I guess. A contract of some sorts. A ledger.
Mr. Leviticus Cornwall. Top secret. Extremely confidential. Very interesting.
Mon cher Angelo, yet again the city is in debt to you and I am flabbergasted by your generosity. The magnificent gift you provided will prove to be a cornerstone in our financing of our dream of establishing a world-renowned university in our city. We are now well on our way to the funds necessary to found both the Divinity School and the Humanities College. Future students in Lemoyne owe a great deal to the vision of men such as you. I am forever grateful, your friend Henri Lemieux. Alright. Bronte. Who was Bronte again? Yeah, I think that was the Italian mobster. Yeah, we have to return to Dutch, but not before we have checked out the place a bit more. Here, like a book placeholder, like these, a book weight. So detailed. Amazing that they did all that trouble. Of course, if you want to have a cool game, you have to do stuff like that. I mean, that's the only way to really create immersion, is looking at all the details. Like this little bird cage. It's like lots of crumbs make a cookie, and the total is more than the sum of its parts, or something along those lines.
Sir, please leave or I will have to call security.
Right. She had a really annoying voice. Sir, please leave or I'll have to call security. Screw you, woman. Porcelain. Flower vases.
Find anything?
Yep.
I think so.
Nothing. This town is a waste of time.
Maybe not. I think... Gentlemen, I think we're done here.
Get the hell out of here.
What did you find out?
There's plenty of money moves through here, of course, and I think I found out how we can grab some of it. A big bank. Real one, I mean. But not yet.
A city bank?
Maybe. And a stuffed one.
Those plans are also highly detailed.
Thing we need.
There's also that trolley car station Senor Bronte told us about, and I heard about a high-stakes poker game. Come on.
Alright, so we do have in this marble window sills. It's all really cool.
Here comes Lenny. All right, let's get in. Go home.
I ain't never felt so awkward in all my life. All them folk all so pleased with themselves. Oh, high society's pigeon shit. If you ask me, it's more like torture.
Well, that's sort of the point, isn't it? Let the people torture themselves.
Here's them papers I took.
Anybody see you take this?
I don't think so.
I might have an idea. Let me think on it.
You do that, Dutch. You do the thinking. We'll do the shooting.
Interesting times.
I guess. So what's next? Dancing lessons? Deportment?
More along the lines of armed robbery. Hosea is handling reconnaissance on the bank. He and Abigail are gonna run some distractions, see how the law reacts.
Good.
Oh, and I spoke to Evelyn Miller. Fine man. Here helping the Indian chief we saw.
Yeah, I met him too, with the mayor.
He's lobbying officials in Saint Denis on their behalf. Maybe we could help.
Maybe.
Now, I think there's a lot of money on the riverboat. A lot of money. And Trelawney, he's investigating for us. He says to meet him at the Taylor's.
Okay.
One big score down here, Arthur, and we disappear. We are almost heading home.
Where is home?
I don't know. Exactly. But I can smell it. I'm gonna go investigate this trolley thing old Bronte was talking about.
Okay.
Right. New day, new opportunity. Hell is this box? Change clothing. No, we're fine. We can fast travel. Let's see where we have to get to. If I'm not mistaken, there should be quite some. The butcher. Pearsonist camp butcher and leather worker. Any hunted game should be brought to him to work with. Meat will be stored in his chuck wagon to be used in soups. Fine skins and bones will be kept for crafting camp furnishings. And satchels and all other animal parts will be donated to the camp funds. There's a little exclamation mark, probably because he is maybe out of stock. No, it's the top right, the meat. It's like not yellow, it's white. That seems to be good. I'm not sure why that is, why there's an exclamation mark. Stuff like that simply is not explained. Ah, the exclamation mark is not here. It is Pearson. So maybe you have to talk to Pearson. Let's do that first, and then head out.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning, woman. Check out the time. It's so cool. You can check the time in game. It's 15 past 8. Indeed. In the morning. Morning. A morning with good fellers. In the Wild West, they.
About what? Sandony. How so? It ain't romantic. It's evil. Evil can be very romantic. Shut up. I talked to this couple in town. They told me there's this old rumor about people drinking blood. Human blood. In town. That's just a silly old wives' tale. What? Blood drinking ain't romantic enough for you? Depends on whose blood. Very funny.
Alright, but in the Wild West they pronounce it as feller, while in the 80s, 90s, in Goodfellas movie, the mobsters, they pronounce it as fella. Goodfella.
Good morning.
Hello.
Morning to you.
Why did he have an exclamation mark on him, which is still there? Hello, why? Maybe because he was gift request. Ah, yeah, we found him his compass.
So, you mentioned you lost your compass. Well, here you go.
Ah,
That's a beauty. Thank you, Mr.
Again,
Rombbb.
invisible NPC.
Here, take this. I know it's not much. Hey, I'll always take some rum.
That invisible NPC bug is really creeping up often.
You got some guts, kid. That's for sure. And how are you?
Say, Morgan! Morgan, you got any hair pomade?
Nope.
Excuse me?
You know, hair pomade.
No.
Well, if you happen to find some.
Sure. I'll buy you some hair pomade.
Pretty funny. Alright, let's eat something. Oh. Not possible.
Morning, Arthur.
Hey, Lenny.
Hello.
He's chilling, reading the paper. Maybe that's something we should do as well. We still have 40 minutes.
Thank you for your help with Miss Jackson.
Let's see if that's possible.
Don't mention him, Miss Grimshaw.
You're a fine man, Mr. Morgan. Sometimes, at least.
Why?
Thank you.
Isn't there any button prompt to sit down? It was there just a minute ago. Okay, here we go. And we do like...
You good?
I'm good. Like so. And we do like 44 and 45. I guess we read. Ah, god damn it. Do you think it will have been cleared? Because I think I also bought 46 and 47, but afterwards I did die one time, so maybe it got cleared. God damn it. Let's see in the document section. Newspapers. Ah, I do have 46 and 47. Somehow it is simply not in the recent section. Really weird. Here we go. Just like Lenny. Saint Denis Times and Tribune. Shining the truth and light since 1832. Feud at the brink. Bloody shootout between families. Moonshine trafficking suspected. Dead and dying in the streets. Rhodes. News was received here today of a tremendous escalation of the decades-old blood feud between the Grays and Braithwaites, two prominent local families who have been arguing since long before the war. The town of Rhodes and its residents were the true victims in a fight between these powerful families. The recent altercation originated in the Rhodes Parlor House, which is owned by the Gray family. Reports say that moonshine or money was the basis of the argument. Shots rang out and voices screamed, and then bullets sadly hushed them. Once prominent families, the fortunes of the Greats and the Braithwaites and other once wealthy landowners like them have been on the wane since the war. The plantation families have been at odds since before the War of the States, claiming some mutual theft of gold or property over a century ago. A motive of which nobody can claim reliability to this day. Reports say the new altercation began when some associates of the Braithwaites entered the Rhodes Parlor House and offered customers plenty of free, untaxed liquor. Lawmen found dead. Henry Jenkins was a veteran of force. Angelo Bronte sends condolences. Foul play suspected. Officer Henry Jenkins was found dead last Tuesday of a gunshot to the head in what has been described as an ambush that left the veteran officer slumped forward in his outhouse near the abode that he shared with his wife of 20 years. Jenkins had led an investigation against prominent local businessman Angelo Bronte, 55, who resides in a mansion on Flavian Street. Mr. Bronte has long been a supporter of local constables and law enforcement and frequently appears at social events celebrating Saint Denis politicians. Some have accused Bronte of being involved in a syndicate that deals in smuggling and racketeering, though numerous officials vouch for him as a fine member of the local business community. They say that his Italian heritage is being held against him and that Bronte is of great benefit to the community, contributing to fundraisers for local schools as well as supporting causes to help the infirm and elderly. Sour stomach. After my wife implored me to try McDonough's compound cathartic pills, I carry these on me, my vest pocket, to always be able to cap one for good health. To pop one for good health. Mr. McDonald's compound. Bank robbery. Valentine Institute recovering thieves cracked safes. The Bank of Valentine has been robbed by an outlaw gang thought to be responsible for several recent hold-ups and the spate of violence. The bank's manager was distracted by a female accomplice of the gang, then forced to open the vault. The safes were cracked and it is believed that several $1,000s in cash, notes and commercial papers were taken or destroyed. The gang tried to sneak out of town but was soon ensnared in a gun battle. The gang evaded capture and soon it seemed as if the entire town were after them. They were chased by authorities who were sadly unsuccessful in capturing the culprits. A fifth person slain. Pattern identified. Message scrawled in blood. Worries intensify of plague. Similar to deaths years ago. Cool. This is probably maybe the first start of the mission to get a serial killer. Which I thought to have read somewhere that is in the game. Residents of Saint Denis are living in fear as the ritualistic deaths from years ago have returned. The pattern is the same. Teeth marks like those of a hyena or dog on the body are noticeable. There are messages scrawled next to the body in blood. Some had attributed the death to yellow fever, but others cite vampires as the cause. Saint Denis lawmen announced years ago they had caught the culprit and indeed did hang Bosco Lopez, who had spent many years living in Argentina before arriving in Saint Denis by frigate. Now that the fifth victim has been found, lawmen are expressing caution, indicating that all residents should avoid traveling alone in the evening wherever possible and keep all residences without locks barricaded overnight. Women are especially advised to show caution as they are more often than not the victim of attacks. Become a millionaire today, the secrets of tomorrow.
Alright, enough sitting around.
Prisoner escapes. Murderer was set to hang. Score of lawmen dead in wild shootouts. Small mountain town in mourning. Residents of Strawberry in fear. That's actually what we did. We shot up whole Strawberry while freeing one of our gang members from the local jail over there. War brewing in Europe. Of clothes there is none better than Algernon's wasp. Fine millinery and exotic items. Exquisite corsets imports from Belgium. Commissions welcome Saint Denis. Power struggle in Africa at issue. The struggle for power in Africa continues. The territories of rival European powers are being disputed once more. Great Britain has plunged into a full-scale war against Dutch settlers in Southern Africa, known as the Boers. Despite the belief that a compromise would be found, hostilities have commenced to crush the Boers as Great Britain rushes to send men and munitions to Southern Africa.
When are we eating, Pearson? It'll be ready
Britain
when it's ready.
Killing scores of Dutch settlers. Rival European powers accuse Great Britain of threatening legitimate claims to territories controlled by others and the gold and diamond mines there that create immense wealth. Also of concern is that the vast and unruly native populations may prove restless, ungrateful and resentful towards their European masters. Women should keep silence, allowed to sing but not speak in church. Alright, almost there, 50%. Holy shit, there's more over here. I'm just reading the title of that woman.
You're a disgusting excuse
Article.
for a man, Bill.
Are we done? Good.
She is subordinate to men. That was just on the edge of the paper. I couldn't read it here. The first day Synod of Virginia was spent with devotional exercises led by Reverend T.M. Spriggs, speaking on giving the work of God to all people. The first day's Synod of Virginia was spent with devotional. Right. His committee was tasked last year to study the scriptural position of women in the home and church and their duties and came to some unsurprising conclusions. Order remains heaven's first law, and it necessitates the due subordination of the ruled to the ruler. This subordination of women by divine appointment is sadly ignored or denied by the women's movement. The home is the special sphere of a woman and indeed is her throne. The church and indeed the scriptures Forbid a woman to hold office or rule. Lead prayer in a public, and they command her with silence.
Come here, Arthur.
It's so annoying. Why would they put his thumb over the text? I really cannot. It's such a small choice to have his thumb like half an inch to the left. Now I have to get all. Ah man, really can't stand minor stuff like that. Now I have to get all the way to this unimmersive pop-up to check what it says. The church and indeed the scriptures forbid a woman to hold office or bear rule, lead prayer in a public assembly, and they command her to keep silence. The scriptures teach what a woman may do in church, her home, or in public. She may sing in mixed-sex devotional services or in meetings of her own sex. The report was signed by all 5 clergymen and they remain unanimous on the woman question, as does this newspaper, which supports the natural order of things, even though we are men of science first and foremost. A summer outing, Lagras fishing and hunting. For those feeling ill, overworked and seeking pleasure, the area of Lagras is ideal for camping, fishing and hunting. The small remote settlement in the swamps of the Beju is teeming with fish and wildlife, and for a reasonable rental, a local will act as a guide for people traveling through or angling. The settlement of Lagras is self-sufficient, earning money through fishing, guiding or working at Hagen orchards nearby. A guide for the day is not only pleasurable but practical, as reports of aggressive alligator attacks have resulted in their services being in high demand. Alright, what's that middle article? Prisoner escapes, small mountain town in mourning, residents of Strawberry in fear. A prisoner set to hang for a brutal murder escaped from jail in Strawberry, setting the town on edge after a horrific shootout. The violence erupted in rapid fashion, catching the sheriff and other law enforcement off guard. Tens of lawmen are dead in what is described as the most brazen jailbreak in years. An accomplice surprised lawmen, and the normally peaceful town erupted in gunfire. The accomplice and prisoner escaped during God damn it, that was the only set here. During a massive running shootout. The local doctor was so overwhelmed with the dead and wounded that he has not been seen in town since.
Boys?
A handkerchief said to be worn by one of the robbers was found in the tracks of their escape with part of a tooth and other evidence of wounding. However, one official said that so many has been involved in pursuing the duo that it could have been one of the many dead that it belonged to. Quincy statue defiled. Confederate war hero fought bravely at Scarlet Meadows. A dispatch from the Saint Denis Constable reports that the statue of General Quincy Harris was defaced in a craven act. The hero of the War of Northern Aggression saw his bravest men cut down in front of his eyes at the Battle of Scarlet Meadows in 1864. The word coward appeared on the statue, so no doubt placed there by the handful of ill-advised citizens who seek to tarnish the name of a general that historians agree was a courageous military man. The battle that day was hectic and a scene of carnage, with conflicting accounts soon discredited, and General Harris is remembered as one who never turned coat in the face of adversity. A modern steam marvel. Cornwall orders fastest steamship in the world. Expected to arrive within the week. Just checking the time. It's so much reading. Yeah, we are almost at the 40-minute mark. Cornwall orders fastest steamship in the world. Expected to arrive within the next week. Industrialist and rail magnate Leviticus Cornwall has ordered delivery of the nation's first turbine-powered steamship, a marvel of engineering from the United Kingdom. First unveiled as an experimental vessel in 1894, it was then demonstrated as the fastest ship on water. Now beginning commercial production, the Turbinia class, as it was first christened, is expected to be a private vessel for Mr. Cornwall, built to his exact specifications and including a level of opulence and grandeur not before seen on modern sailing vessels. The king of corsets, exotic finery, booms in Saint Denis. Let's read the whole title. That was the whole title. Since the wife of King Henry II of France enforced a ban on thick waists at court attendance, the corset has remained in high fashion for all who can afford it. Wow, there was a king who enforced a ban on thick waists. Using exotic lace and stays and whalebones and metal supports, much cherished local artisan Algernon Wasp fashioned striking corsets at his world-renowned workshop and greenhouse in the Mansion district of Saint Denis. His millinery work and corsetry are all the rage among the fashionable members of the higher classes, who prize his use of rare and most delicate materials such as orchids and agate feathers. Agate, what the hell is that? With a long list of elite and aristocratic clients from all around the world, Mr. Wasp's workshop toils into the night to make the waist of aristocrats slimmer and their heads dainty with finery. He remains an example of Saint Denis' status as a cultural capital of the world. Alright, egret. Let's make that a learning moment of today. What the hell is egret? It's like an animal or something. Egret meaning a heron with mainly white plumage having long plumes in the breeding season.
Reverend?
Right, we do Nederlands. I'm curious what the word is in Dutch, my mother tongue. Zilverreiger. Okay, it's like a water bird. They have fled. Lemoyne Raiders now in Texas. The ex-soldiers, renegades and criminals that loosely comprise the Lemoyne Raiders militia have mostly fled to Texas after repeated clashes with the government and law enforcement, breaching the Free Stater anti-government and anti-tax doctrine. Their message soon grew tiresome for a populace that simply wants to move on after the war between the states. The scrappy militia has spent the last few years robbing government employees at institutions and regular civilians as well. After some stinging defeats, the Lemoyne Raiders fled to areas of Texas where it is reported their disdain for paying tax or supporting the government is more readily received. A massive motive. Cliff sculpture in Grizzlies.
How's it going?
Wayfarers in the Grizzlies have reported a massive cliff face sculpture is underway, courtesy of a yet unknown artist, undertaken by a lone man toiling away, I guess, with hammer and chisel, but rarely seen. He is suspended by hemp rope and works in the beating sun to accomplish his artistic vision of carving a face into a prominent rock face. The project began several weeks ago, according to travelers who say the man has undertaken it as an homage to his beloved wife. Greed is an American virtue. Anyway, I think we have a treasure map where the actual the objective is near a face, a rock resembling a face. So maybe we should try and look it up in the Grizzlies. But the Grizzlies is pretty big. I have no idea, just how to find it. But that's like for a mental note. The Art of Angling by Jeremy Gill, Channel Catfish. As a world-famous master of both rod and pan, it often troubles me to see this fascination with factories and machines. They can dull the senses. I have long prided myself as a fisherman, free from exhibitions of vanity and self-conceit, which is why I'm often asked to lecture on my extensive travels, sharing the successes of my uncanny ability to catch any fish, and also on spiritual, romantic and economic matters. Indeed, fishing once helped me stop a major European land war, but that's another story for another day. Catfish care not a jot for major battles, avert or otherwise. My next challenge, catching monster-sized channel catfish. They love muddy waters and prefer crayfish over other baits. Fishing in overcast weather, their mysteries of the deep deter the sun. Right, so annoying. That guy is super vain and he is boasting about being modest. Really funny. They love muddy waters and prefer crayfish over other baits. Fish in overcast weather, these mysteries of the deep, detest the sun, much like our British counterparts. Happy hunting. Coach ambushed. Assailants flee, burn barn. Search continues for robbers. A supply coach operated by Cornwall Industries was ambushed just south of Scarlet Meadows in Lemoyne. The band of thieves, numbering 4 in all, ordered the guards to abandon the coach. They then immediately fled with the stolen coach. The victims of the coach robbery gave pursuits to a local farm where the assailants were discovered later that night. During a massive gunfight, the highwaymen set fire to a barn, which burned to the ground. They escaped to the woods in the south, and authorities are searching the area for their whereabouts. It's so cool. Many articles are about our own escapades. Really cool. Anyways, always after reading it, I'm getting almost dizzy because it's so much to take in and to read out loud. Anyways, we already exceeded the duration of the average episode.
What's wrong with you, Mr. Morgan?
How'd you meet?
We're stuck in camp all the time. You used to be such a man of action.
Well, I'm sorry.
I was just reading the newspaper, like Hosea.
Hello,
You're also not bugging him, Mrs. Brown Dress. Anyways, we already exceeded the duration, so I have to end it here, and we will continue in the next episodes. Hope you enjoyed. It was, not that exciting. It was a lot of reading, but it's good to get to know the era, where we are playing in, and the all the developments and news tidbits of the area. So that's why I do read everything. It's part of a deep playthrough after all. Hope to see you in the next video.
Place you brought us to, my
and I surely suggest...
makes me miss freezing to death in the mountains.
Yeah.
I strongly suggest to keep on gaming. See you later.